This week on Supercars Talk, we've got more safety car changes, driver movement galore, and I begin my big Bathurst preview. Big news this week is that Mason Kelly will be sitting out the rest of the year in Super 2. He's had some big incidents this year and they've decided to pull the pin on the last two rounds. And no confirmation whether he will actually be racing next year, whether this is the end of the road for him. Kelly Racing will be racing with Cam McLeod in the final two rounds of the year. Still, but the actual big news this week is more safety car changes for Bathurst. Well, is it? We're going back to what we used to do that made a lot more sense. It's still not a perfect situation because, they're saying that they will be enforcing yellow flag rules, which they have not done in the past. So you will have to slow down going past the incident, which has not happened in the past. If realistically, as long as they enforce that, essentially they tell the drivers you have to slow down, whether that's to a certain speed or you know in that microsector or whatever, you have to lose 2 seconds or something like that. At least it gives a bit of clarity on what's happening. It's not a perfect situation. I still think that we should be shutting the pits and to stop so that you can get out to the incident as quick as possible. That's why we have these safety cars and that, so because an incident has happened and so safety crews can get out there. But it's better than all of the crap that we had. Thankfully, it was Jamie Whincup ploughing into the back of Scott Pye while they were trialling the new system to show how ridiculous it is if, the GOAT, Jamie Whincup, can, stuff it right up. Anybody can. So at least that should make Bathurst a bit better without stupid safety car rules. There won't be that everyone trundling around for 5 laps under 80 Ks where everyone can go and do 6 pit stops and all that kind of stuff. So the common sense, a little bit of common sense prevailing, and we've basically gone back to the system that we had for years and years and years, and it worked. Can we improve it? I think we can, but this is a step backwards in the right direction, so I'm pretty happy about that. Now, some big driver movements this week. As we announced last week, Cam Hill was leaving MSR. No surprises that he has joined Brad Jones Racing for next year. He will be a Toyota driver. Toyota are happy with that because it shows the progression of he's an 86 graduate. And it was also confirmed that Macaulay Jones will be driving with the team again next year. I see a lot of hate for Macaulay on, you go into the comments on websites and social media platforms, and there's a lot of hate for Macaulay. Well, if you look, I've said before, all those same people are probably like, oh, Jackson Evans deserves a drive. And Macaulay's, shaping up pretty well against his, especially with Jackson. But he's not doing too bad a job with the rest of his teammates. I'm more than happy seeing Macaulay out there. He does go and find the sponsorship for that car. It's not like, Brad's sitting on millions of dollars and just, pumps it into that. Macaulay goes and finds the money, and there's some other drivers that may be leaving that team that haven't been able to find the funds to keep that seat. Heimgartner was confirmed there. No news on what's happening with the SCT Logistics car. It will be interesting whether Jackson continues or whether they look elsewhere. I heard that they were looking elsewhere, but maybe, those kind of drivers ending up in other seats somewhere. Also confirmed this week is that James Golding will be leaving Premier and joining Blanchard Racing Team, filling in that vacant seat from the retiring James Courtney. He is definitely retiring. Jimmy coming across there. Okay, they had to find a driver for this seat. Whether James will be doing a better job than what James was doing this year, yeah, that remains to be seen. I don't really see this as a step forward for the team. Rather, kind of, yeah, you're going to get very similar results from those guys. And even then, you go, well, they're getting the Triple Eight gear next year. Well, Premier's got the Triple Eight gear, and look at their results at the moment. Maybe they can make more of it than what Premier is at the moment. Some other news of what's happening or rumours. It looks like Rylan Gray will be moving himself across to the Team 18 wildcard. I don't think anyone's told him that the super cheap deal is moving from Triple Eight to Team 18. I think he's just thinking, get to pair up with Lowndes at Bathurst and we go and, yeah, it's a top 10 running car and all that kind of. Yeah, I don't know if I'd be. There's no news on whether he's leaving, Tickford on the Super 2 program. But if that was me, I think I'd be staying put with Tickford for, the Super 2s. If I can't get a full-time ride, stick with Tickford for the Super 2 season. Stick with Tickford with their wildcard program as well. And, see where we go from there rather than... I think you're better off in a Tickford wildcard than a Team 18 wildcard. There we go. I've said it. I could be proven wrong next year, but I don't think that's the right decision. Of course, we're just waiting for MSR to announce that Jack LeBrock is returning there, and then also that Job Stewart will be replacing him at Erebus. Premier, it's looking like it's going to be Jaden Ojeda and Declan Fraser. I really want to see Jaden Ojeda get a full-time ride. Is it going to be better than what they currently have? Yeah. No. It's currently looking like also Bryce Forward and Richie Stanaway are going to be left out in the cold once, everything falls into place. Now, before we get into the big Bathurst preview, it is a Super 2 round coming up this weekend. So, as per usual, I've caught up with some of my Super 2 friends, and here they are. So we're back here chatting with Cody Burcher with Bathurst just around the corner. But before we get into that, you've had a busy few weeks since we last saw you. I can't even remember where it was now. It was that long ago.
Yeah, I think I'm a bit of regular on this show now. So, I've been, keeping myself busy. I've been racing the GT4 car a bit, and I even had a very short cameo in the TCR car. Bit over a week ago at the Supercars round at the Bend, which was good fun. We the cars were very limited to we're meant to get a lot more running than what we did, but the freight was delayed for all the cars coming from Europe, and so they cut our weekend a lot shorter. And then in the last race, I had a fuel pump let go, so I only got to do the one race, but nonetheless, the more you're in a car, the better. So it was a heap of fun.
How did that opportunity come about?
So through Ash Seaward Motorsport, who
Yep.
I raced the GT4 car with Tim Lay through them. So, done a bit of racing over the last couple of years and with him and had plenty of success. So, he heard as soon as he knew that the European Series was coming over here to Australia for the Bend weekend, he, gave me a buzz and, do you want to come race a TCR car? So it was, it was a pretty cool opportunity. And up until then, the only front wheel drive I'd driven was an XL. And, the more laps for me was going to be better on the weekend, but I hadn't even driven the car at all until Friday night. They gave us a really quick shakedown, and then Saturday morning we were, into qualifying and races. So I don't think you could go in with any more of the least amount of preparation, but it was a heap of fun, and we had some really good speed. Relatively matching the factory guys at the end of the first race. So it was a heap of fun. It would have been nice to have a little bit more running, but sometimes that's racing.
Yeah, on first kind of glance at the results, you kind of go, "Oh, he's had a bad weekend." But when you consider most of the field, he's driving them week in, week out, and you had such little running, you probably actually did a really good job in there.
Yeah, at the end of the first race, we were the same speed as the factory Lincoln Co guys, which was to
Mm,
me was pretty good. So it would have been nice to have a go in the second race. I think we finished ninth outright in the first race, and
mm.
yeah, I think in the second one, if we got to have a good crack, we had some good speed in the car. So anyway, hindsight's a wonderful thing. So it would have been great, but just wasn't to be.
But what was the racing like in it? Because it was probably a little bit of a tough watch.
Yeah, it was. You know what? They were probably a little bit more conservative than I expected.
Mm,
Um, Obviously, they've had very limited time running, um, so they're probably not as aggressive as what they probably would be back at home.
yep,
Limited on parts, that sort of thing. If they run into someone, so that could be part of it. But yeah, I mean, the cars were good fun to drive, and I can, but it's similar to a lot of the GT categories as well. You got
yep,
can be on the good and bad side of a BOP quite often.
yeah.
Um, just but that's just multi manufacturer racing. So it sometimes in your favor, sometimes it's not. But really, definitely don't have anything bad to say about the category. That's for sure. Had a lot of fun, and
Yep.
I think their next round's over in Macau. So I'd say the tough watch you had will be very different when they get to Macau.
Have you put your hand up for that one?
Oh, if the opportunity come up, I'd love to race in an event like that.
Mm,
But we'll just have to wait and see. At this point, there's no plans
okay.
to head over there. But at some point, I'd definitely love to have a crack and get the opportunity to race it at a that's to me the about the highest street circuit you can get to. So
Hmm.
um, it's pretty cool. I've chucked plenty of laps there on my sim previously, and I wouldn't say in a TCR car, but it's
Yeah, yeah.
regardless of what car you're driving there, it's pretty insane.
Yeah, it's a pretty gnarly place, even just watching onboards around there. So anyway, closer to home, Bathurst is coming up. This will be your home round. Excited about that?
Oh, it's hard not to be, isn't it?
Mm,
Bathurst is Bathurst. I don't think I need to speak of it. Everyone knows the significance of the Bathurst 1000 and Mount Panorama. It's a track everyone wants to win at. It's a track everyone wants to do well at, and we've had quite a bit of success there in the past in 86s and GT4. So definitely want to go there and um, yeah, give it a good crack, and hopefully we can have the speed to be right up the front, battling for those podiums and race wins. We've sort of just been nipping at the heels a little bit lately, and you know it's frustrating. Look at
mm.
it's such tiny margins at the moment. So, but it adds to that drive to want to go out there and make it all happen. So, yeah, super excited. It's have all my family, sponsors, or even just for me the local Orange community. There's not many events that they can get to, and I've got an awesome
Yep.
supporter base from out here. So to be able to
Yep.
have all those people come along is I'm super excited for, and yeah, there's not many opportunities like this. So yeah, still pinching myself a little bit, but can't wait.
So we can expect to see the Eggleston cars taking it to Tickford this weekend.
100%, that's the plan. So it's been, but to be honest, the goal's been no different all year. We want to go out and win races. That's the goal. A few people have stepped their game up this year, and um, so we've just got to, that last little bit. I think is all it'll be, and I've got all the faith in the world that um, you know, we can win races and be on the podium consistently. So, I've been learning so much this year, and so have the team as well, which has been
Yep.
amazing. So I've got all the confidence in the world that we can go there and go there and do what we know we can.
Just brake a little bit later and accelerate a little bit harder.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I don't know why all these people are always complaining about race driving's hard. It's just brake early, brake late, throttle early, simple.
So on the big race, have you got any tips for the win on that one?
Oh, it's hard to go past. I mean, obviously Jamie and Brock had a bit of a shocker at the bend, but the pace that those boys have got under in that car, and especially with how well Brock's driving at the moment, it's it's hard to go past them as your number one pick. But also you got Brody and Todd, who have won there last year, won the most recent enduro. So you'd be crazy to rule them out as well as the. But a bit of a dark horse, I think. Cam Waters and Frosty. I think if they get everything right, they'll be in there too. So there's for me, there's quite a few new combinations that could be in contention, which is awesome to see.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be a wide open race and we have a few guys battling for the win this time.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's at the end of the day, it's a spectator sport, isn't it? So you want to see a good hard race, and whenever you're out in front and you can lead and take off as a driver, that's the best thing ever. But it's we'll wait and see, I guess.
Anyway, we'll be cheering you on in the Super 2 races. All the best for the weekend, and we'll catch up with you after.
Thanks, Dave.
Back on the show, we've got BJR co-driver for the endurance races, Brad Vaughan. Welcome back.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
It's been a while, and the big question on everyone's lips at the moment is, I didn't see anything from you from Macca's Farm on the weekend. Didn't you get an invite?
Everybody that knows me knows that I love a paddock basher race. I do one every year for my birthday, and it's a big one. We take it pretty seriously. She's bigger than Bathurst at our farm, but unfortunately I couldn't make it to the one on the weekend. So it looks like that a lot of fun.
Yeah, it did look good. What were you busy doing?
We've got a lot getting ready for the sprint car racing this summer. So pretty excited to have a 410 sprint car program coming up. Done a lot of speedway. I love speedway, love dirt racing, and to be doing winged sprint car racing in the top level. That's pretty exciting. So we got our first race this coming weekend.
Good preparation for Bathurst, that one.
Yeah, exactly right. I can tell you, after jumping back in the supercar last week, it felt slow after driving the sprint car. That's how crazy those things are. So it's a very good prep for Bathurst.
So before we get into Bathurst, the Bend, what happened there? Because I had you guys down as a bit of a dark horse for the Enduros.
Yeah, it's unfortunately all four BJR cars had a rough one. We missed the setup by a fair bit. So, and I say a fair bit, it doesn't take much with these Gen 3 cars. All you got to be is slightly out the window, a turn of this, a hole of that or something, and you're losing that tenth or two every lap. Put that over 4 hours when there's no safety cars, and you fall behind pretty quick. So, it was unfortunate, but I'm sure we'll have a better Bathurst. I got no doubt about that.
You did get in a cheeky pass on, I forget who it was, but I think you went around the outside of someone.
I started 25th where Bryce qualified and got up to 18th, I think it was. So passed a couple cars. I think the move you might be thinking of was on Perkins, maybe. Anyway.
I think it might have been, yes.
Yeah. So, that was sort of, you get to 18th and then there was sort of no cars in front of me, no cars behind me. I was in no man's land and then jumped out the car, and Bryce, I think we dropped 2 places to 20th. But, unfortunately it was a little bit of I don't want to say boring, but it was a very, sort of subtle race. There wasn't much going on and we sort of just run our own laps.
Yeah, the safety car in there would have spiced things up a little bit, I think.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Like, I'm a local from South Australia, so I spend every week out at the Bend Motorsport Park, and I love the joint. I think it's an awesome racetrack, very technical, quite challenging around the back of the circuit there. But unfortunately for supercars, it's such a big track, wide open, with only 25, 6 cars, whatever it is. Everyone just sort of spreads out and that's it. So either 50-car grids or something to spice it up.
Well, yeah, we can only hope with the bigger grids coming up, but I don't think that's going to happen in the near future, unfortunately. But looking forward to Bathurst, I suppose you're hoping the setup's a bit better for that one.
Yeah, we put a lot of work behind the scenes, and even technical alliances, we get a little bit of information from Triple Eight, and we're always looking at that stuff and back and forwards. So, Triple Eight didn't have a really, for their standards, the day they would want either. So the Fords look pretty quick, and Bathurst, BJR, Bryce has had 2 top 10s there in his 3 starts, I think, from at BJR. So he's been quick, and we'll be right. We'll just have a send. I love Bathurst too. I had a good round there last year. I chucked her on pole in Super 2, so more of that would be great.
So looking forward to Super 2 as well. You're doing double duties. You fairly confident on that one?
Yeah, double duties is big. Like, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Double duties is massive. So, I did it last year and got through it fine. And this year, sort of a little bit more of a co-driver role compared to last year. So I can't see it being as difficult. But no, I think Bathurst is one of those places. I see, a few of the drivers saying they wouldn't want to do both on the same weekend, but I don't really follow that mindset. I think the more laps you can do at Bathurst, the better, because it's just a confidence place. You need to have confidence, and the more laps you can do, the more confident you get.
You're not concerned about the differences between the Gen 2 and the Gen 3 cars throwing you off?
It's something you're going to be aware of for sure. Like, the aero difference across the top is a fair bit, but the main series run a softer compound tyre than us as well, so that makes up for the lack of grip a little bit. So it does even out. Where last year it was both on the same compounded tyre, so that was even bigger difference. But no, I'm keeping it in the back of my mind. I'll be right.
And for the big race, who's your tip for the win?
Car 14. I don't know. People are always going to say themselves, but a top 10 would be great. A podium would be absolutely amazing. BJR's had a couple rough years at Bathurst over the last couple seasons, so I'm sure they'll be looking for a good result. As for who wins, I'm not sure. As long as it's a good race, that's all that matters.
Well, that's what we're all hoping for as well, and we'll be there to cheer you on. So all the best for the weekend.
No worries. Thanks, mate.
Once again, a massive shout out to Cody Burcher and Brad Vaughan for their time. All the best on the mountain, and fingers crossed I find some time to catch up with some other guys next week for some interviews. But now we head into the traditional Big Bathurst preview. Traditionally, I split this up into 2 videos in the lead up to Bathurst. This week, we are looking at what I call the Pretenders, which is essentially the bottom half of the field. There's not many in this where I think they're going to have a chance for the win. We could be proven wrong, but here we go. I'm going to run through them fairly quickly on whether I think they have a chance for the win, a podium, or top 10. We'll make it pretty simple, and yes, I'm going to be a bit harsh right now with some of them. Realistically, every car out there has a good shot at a top 10, pending disasters with other teams and things like that. You're probably looking, if it's exactly the right day, you've probably got 15 or so cars genuinely in with a shot with win, but a lot of those guys, it really needs something to go wrong with, there's probably 5, 6 cars that are in with a genuine shot, and then all the other guys, they really need all of those cars for something to go wrong, to get them. If it's their day, though, it's their day. Anyway, let me know down in the comments why you disagree with me. Anyway, we'll kick it off with the wildcards. We got the Triple Eight, Craig Lowndes and Zach Bates wildcard. Realistically, these guys, they've got a good shot of getting into the top 10 shootout and finishing in the top 10. Will they be on the podium? No. I don't think, as hard as it is to say, I don't think Lowndes is fast enough these days. I don't think they're going to. And then realistically, Zach Bates, he's not going to get them into podium contention. They're going to win. No. But definite. I will not be surprised if you see them at the top 10 at the end of the day. And if Zach gets himself into the shootout. The second wildcard is the MSR1 of Cam Crick and Aaron Seaton. These guys, if they make the top 10, it will be one hell of a day. Nothing against them, but they're not in contention. It'll be a very good day, I think, if they even get themselves into the top 15. Next up, we've got the Tickford wildcard of Ryland Gray and Lockie Dalton. Could we see them in the top 10? It's going to, nearly take a miracle, I think. If they get into the top 15, I think it's going to be a very good day for them. Blanchard Racing, we've got James Courtney and Jack Perkins. Top 10 at the end of the day, yes, very, very possible. I don't think we're going to see them in the shootout. They're not in podium contention. They're not in contention for the win. As for the other team car of Cameron and Best, everything I said about Courtney and Perkins, but a little bit worse. Having said that, Cameron could spring a surprise and get himself into the top 10 shootout. If the Walkinshaw cars turn up and are bang on it, that could drag these guys into the conversation. But realistically, they're going to be at least behind the Walkinshaw cars. So, you've got to factor that in when talking about these guys. If either of them make the top 10 at the end of the day, I think it will be a reasonable day for them. Next up, the BJRB team. We've got Jones and Boys, and then Evans and Smith. They're not going to be on the podium, not going to go for the win. If they get in the top 10, it's going to be a really good day. I think if they're around 15th or so, it's probably going to be reasonable from them. Premier Racing, Stanaway and Morris, Golding and Russell. This time last year, we were really talking like Golding and Russell had just had a podium at Sandown, and we were talking, Dave Russell seemed to have that key of just doing really good things at Bathurst for a while there. The way this year's been going for them and everything, no. If it rains, could it be Richie's day? Well, yes, but neither of these guys. We could see them in the top 10 shootout. We could see them racing in the top 10. They're not going for podiums. They're not going for wins. So, I said we're going to be a bit harsh on this one, because when you look at the lineups next week, I can't see these guys beating any of them. Erebus, we've got Jack LeBrock and Jared Hughes, and then Cooper Murray and Job Stewart. Murray and Stewart did a really, really good job at the Bend. Whether that's going to be quite the same at Bathurst, I think they're going to have a tougher time out of it. The other team car, though, Jack LeBrock and Jared Hughes. Hughes is, I think, this is my dark horse for kind of getting onto the podium, whether they're a win. Jack had a really, really good run here last year, but was thwarted a bit because they prioritised the other car and kind of screwed Jack a bit with the pit stops and things like that. If it's their day, can I see them going out and winning? No, but can I see them on the podium? Yes, probably. I can see out of all the cars so far, this is probably the strongest one to, for a top 10 shootout berth, and really kind of, possibly a podium at the end of the day. And the final one for this week, we've got the BJR A team, Heimgartner and Fraser, Fullwood and Vaughan. Fullwood and Vaughan, just something about endurance racing and Bryce Fullwood. I don't think we're going to see them on the podium. Could we see, kind of around that 5th position from Fullwood at the end of the race? Yes. It is BJR at Bathurst. They haven't had the best run, especially over the last few years. I think Brad had all these good runs when, he very first started the team back in the early 2000s there. And the Bathurst kind of performances have seemed to tail off from there. Top 10 contenders, yes. Will we see them in shootout? Probably not. But yeah, by the end of the day, one of these cars should be in the top 10. So that's part 1 of my big Bathurst preview. Keep an eye out next week. There will be part 2 where I go through the contenders. There's a bit more positivity in that one, I think, coming. Hopefully I'll catch up with a couple more of the Super 2 drivers this week as well, so keep an eye out for that. And also this week we'll have the big review of the Diecast Model Expo that happened last weekend down in Victoria, so keep an eye out for that one as well. Anyway, as I said, down in the comments, let me know what you think about my Bathurst predictions so far. Until next time, I'm still Dave, and I'll catch you later.